Welcome to the Holiness Today podcast. On this episode, I connect with the Holiness Today team to reflect on the last year and to discuss what we're looking forward to in the new year. Joining me on this episode is Jordan Eichste, managing editor of the Holiness Today magazine, and Dani Hulka, host of the Holiness Today Spanish podcast. All right, Jordan Eichste, managing editor of Holiness Today magazine, Dani Hulka, Spanish host and social media extraordinaire. Welcome to the Holiness Today podcast. It's kind of fun doing it with your colleagues and coworkers. It feels overly formal in a way, but we don't want it to make it that way. But welcome to the podcast. How are you both doing this morning?
Thank you. Doing well. My first time on the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been on the back end many times, but never on this side. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, you've recorded. That's something we can give shout
That's
out.
True.
You've done a lot of
That's
recording.
True. That's true.
So some of the other readings of the magazine, you'd hear Jordan's voice, so you might recognize her voice. Dani, if you're a Spanish speaker, well, she's been on the English podcast when Sarah Loganville interviewed her, but Dani would be someone you'd recognize her voice if you're a Spanish speaker listening to the Spanish Holiness Today.
That's right.
But yeah, we kind of wanted to do an episode where we kind of talked about where we've gone or where we've been and what we're looking forward to. But without it being a self-promotion, we want to acknowledge different shout-outs to people along the way. But this morning, I was looking at some of our numbers. Here's some just fun things to think about. We launched the podcast in September of 2022. I forget that sometimes because we were just kind of feeling it out. We launched with 10 episodes, pre-recorded material, stuff from the magazine, stuff we've done in the past. Bonnie Perry was a huge yes, do it, as we pitched ideas to her. So she was a big support. So shout out Bonnie Perry, general editor. Thank you for all of your help and support. And then I want to give a special shout out to Jeff Beam and Nick Loganville in IT. They've both moved on to different jobs, no longer at the Global Ministry Center, but we wouldn't have been able to make this happen without the help of IT and just different ideas along the way that Jordan and I and Bonnie and Dani have come up with. But yeah, and as of today, we've been listened to in over 124 countries. So hopefully we'll hit 125. We may be 125 because Podbean doesn't read all the countries. It says some in anonymous areas, probably IP address stuff. So we might be in over 125 countries. Okay. And as of last year, we launched a Spanish podcast. But yeah, we're excited to be here. Jordan, what was it like when we got going? I'm trying to remember back. I know Bonnie had a big meeting about what we...
I remember putting the 10 episodes together.
Yeah.
To have something to start with.
When Bonnie started, she kind of had what would you like Holiness Today to look like? And I don't know if you want to share a little bit, but we're still obviously doing the magazine, but we thought of ways, how can Holiness Today be more than just a magazine? That's not an official tagline, but yeah, I don't know if you can remember back on any of that or your thoughts on it. And we'll be right back.
So if you've been enjoying this podcast and God's been stirring your heart that perhaps you're receiving a call to missions or someone you know may be called to missions, come to our website, nazarene.org/global missions, and see the opportunities that God is giving us and giving you and maybe somebody you know to serve Him somewhere around the world.
Now, back to the rest of the episode.
Feels like yesterday and a long time ago at the same time. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to do this kind of new, and obviously you're doing most of the work with the podcast, but it has been fun to develop a new kind of avenue of content, getting content to people. It seems like it's the way people take in content now. So it's been fun to kind of see that develop. And how many episodes do we have now? I know we started out with 10. I'm sure we've got so many.
Yeah, so this episode, when it goes up today, we're recording it today. I'm going to try and get it up today, will be our 290th episode. So
awesome. Wow.
We'll be at
That's
300 soon. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. It's been really cool. I think it's a new way for a kind of a more casual style of content versus the more formal, I guess you could call them, articles that we kind of publish in the magazine. So yeah, I think that's good.
Well, and as I was thinking back on it, it made me laugh. I was humbled by it because we didn't really start out with so the format we kind of have now is on Tuesdays, we do more of a historical episode or a sermon. And then Thursdays, generally speaking, we've been doing conversations. But when I went back and looked, we were just kind of doing whatever we could to get content up.
I know.
And sorry, go ahead. I might have interrupted
No,
there, but it's just funny thinking back on that because it's like we launched it. We knew we needed to get a podcast going. We launched it as a soft launch. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that's why I thought let's do this episode today because we've never really officially turned the microphone on ourselves or the camera on
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and said like what are we doing with the Holiness Today podcast? So I thought it'd be kind of fun and funny to kind of do some shout outs along the way as we've grown. Um,
Definitely.
Dani, obviously you're a big piece of that, big growth piece of that. But when we brought you on earlier than January though, because we launched it, we spent that fall learning different approaches we wanted to do. But one of the things that was fascinating for me is recognizing that in English, some of the countries that were our top listeners were Guatemala and Mexico. And I knew that we needed to launch a Spanish podcast, but God kind of put you. I didn't even know you were living in Olathe. Your dad had mentioned that, and God kind of just brought you to us. So,
Mhm.
welcome, Dani. And how have you been putting up with us over the last year?
Thank you so much. It's been great. I think it's been a huge change in what I do normally is way out of my comfort zone, but it's been amazing to be able to be part of HT, but also listen to different people and their stories. And I think that's something that I really enjoy. I always am. I always enjoy listening to people and just doing it for work. It's amazing. So I think that's something that I've been enjoying a lot this past year. And yeah, it's been completely different again to what I'm used to, but it's been great. And then HT team, you guys are amazing and you guys have been so gracious and so kind to me during this past year. So I've been enjoying it a lot.
And Dani, something you and I have talked about. Obviously, Jordan and I have talked about this for Jordan. What are we working? We've been colleagues for about 9 years now, so we've
Yeah,
probably talked
almost a
about
decade. Yep.
almost anything HT related under the sun, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But Dani and I have been talking more recently about more than just podcasting. So more than a magazine, more than just podcasting. But a big thing that Dani's been researching and doing for us is social media. But Dani, if you'd like to share a little bit about the importance of connectivity that you're seeing right now, and we're going to attempt in 2026 to get more into video shorts and things like that. But what are your thoughts on the next wave of connecting?
Yeah, I've realized that nowadays, internet is a means, right? It's something that everyone is on, and there are so many ways for social media to be part of our day-to-day lives. And it is, I mean, it's crazy how many or a great percentage of people, the first thing they do is they log into their TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, depending on what you like most. So I think right now we're in a point in society where we just want to be connected all the time, and we have opinions and we comment and we like um, on all of the platforms. So I think it's going to be super interesting to see how we are able to use those tools for HT and how we can grow in that area as well. I mean, yeah, I think for me, it's going to be a challenge to be able to um, connect, not only post things, but interact with the people um, in in Facebook, mainly Facebook, because that is our biggest following. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how we are able to connect and interact with people, right? Comment on people's posts and do some reels, as you said. Try to ask questions and be able to hear back from our followers, because it's not only about sharing our posts, but it's also about listening and understanding who our followers are and what we can how we can help them, or how what are we bringing to the table for them, and how can we make a dynamic in between our followers and us as as HT.
And Dani, we're coming up on a milestone. I was unaware of it, but you made Jordan and I aware of a milestone we're coming up on Facebook. If you could share a little bit about that too.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So we are almost into our 44K, and I think that is amazing. That is crazy that we have around 44,000 followers. And I am very, very excited about that. And I really hope that we can do that this year. I think that's our goal for 2026. So we need 170 100 followers more. So with 170 followers more, we'll make it to 44K. So I'm very excited about that. And I hope we
Yeah.
can do it this year. That would be amazing.
Are we able to track old man in the podcast, but are we able to track who the 170th follower would be? Like, are we able to see like that was the 170th? Could we give him a shout out or something fun like that, maybe in the magazine or the podcast, if we can see that?
That would be
Maybe they wouldn't
amazing.
want a shout out. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. We can ask the legal team on that one, but it'd be
For
kind of fun.
sure.
Do
Yeah, that would
something
be
special.
amazing. I think we should do something special for our 44K. Maybe do like a small video, or maybe yeah, we'll figure it out, and we'll definitely write it and post it on HT. But yes, I think we can figure out, hopefully we can figure out where 44K follower is, and track them down. That'd be amazing.
And I just wanted to take space. We'll do some more what we're looking forward to in 2025, but I mean in 2026. But I wanted to talk about some of the things we mentioned. The Spanish podcast was launched in 2025. I want to give a shout out to the global mission team as well. Jim Ritchie and Crystal Gibbons really partnered with the magazine and the podcast both in 2025. If you haven't listened to them, both Jim and Crystal are great interviewers. They've interviewed people from around the world. Great to go back and listen to them. If you've already listened to them, they're good to listen to again. I've listened to them multiple times, but it's been so fun to have them connected. It's really helped us to connect with regional leaders in Africa, Eurasia, Asia Pacific. And then Dani's been doing a really good job. We really do have a heart to eventually launch. This maybe be a foreshadowing thing, our 5 year plan. But we really do have a heart to launch more languages. But Dani's been doing a good job connecting with South America and Mesoamerica in the Spanish podcast. Dani and I talk about this a lot, but as we kind of spread out and connect with the global world, we don't want to lose um, how would you say that, Dani? We don't want to lose a unity. We don't want to be spreading out so fast that we're losing unity. So it's always good for us to come back and talk about that. But I feel that Jim Ritchie and Crystal both have helped us keep a global outreach while unified under their vision of what they're looking at. So shout out to them. And we're excited to continue to grow in that area. I'm trying to think, Dani, is there other I've got some fun stuff that we can look forward to in 2026, but I think that was the biggest impact that I felt in 2025 is that we really tried to be more global, while at the same time we've got a very good connection with USA and Canada. I could speak for everyone in the room. I think that we're all sad about Stan Reeder retiring, but Dr. Stan Reeder, from the very beginning of when this podcast launched, has been a great partner and helped us to connect with the region. But we hope to kind of uh, use that model that we've done with USA Canada for other regions. We want to be connecting with other regions. So, listeners out there, I'll say this at the end, but I'll say it now. Email us at Holiness Today at Nazarene.org,
Hmm.
uh, for just ideas. I know that Michelle Linham in Eurasia has been a great connector. She's a wonderful person that's connected me with several people in Eurasia, but we really can't know everyone, so we really rely on relationships and partnerships to connect with more people, but we're so thankful for that. um yeah. But Jordan, before I kind of give some of the stuff we're looking forward to in 2026, I thought this would be a good space for you to tell us what are the themes that Holiness
Hmm.
Today magazine is doing in 2026.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we'll say tentative. I guess things could always change.
Yes.
You never know, but
Things
these are the
definitely flex
tentative
here and
themes
there.
in
Right. Yep.
2026.
We try to be planned out as much as we can. So January issue is obviously already out. The January, February issue was on first fruits. So kind of just orienting ourselves at the beginning of the year, giving God our first and our best. And what does that mean biblically and practically? I think this one had a lot of practical articles, which I always enjoy. So kind of just looking at if you're doing something for the first time in your family or just in your ministry, in your life, We can kind of enter that with trepidation, but because Christ goes before us and he is the first fruits, we don't need to be, we can have the confidence in him. So it's a good issue. It's out now. It's online and in print. So hopefully you guys all read that. Next up is Genesis, which I'm really excited about. That's going to be coming out in March. And Nate kind of helped us frame this in terms of the days of. So we're going to be looking at almost the eras of Genesis. So we're going to be looking at days of creation, days of Adam, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. So some of those patriarchs. And obviously, in one issue of a magazine with 1,000-word articles, you're not going to be able to do everything you need to do for Genesis because there's just so much there. But I think that could be a really cool one. We're trying to do more narrative style, so less academic. We're obviously using academic people and people who have good research, but try to just bring these stories to life and kind of a more narrative approach. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Next up is in May, we're going to be doing Image of God. Again, sort of a tentative title, but it feels sort of like a natural connection from Genesis, asking questions like, why were we created? What does it mean to be made in God's image? And what is the unique thing about being made in the image of God versus the rest of creation? Kind of the good versus very good language. So again, hopefully we'll be able to make that more practical and application to everyday life. In the summer, we're going to be zooming in on Moses. So last year we did an issue on John the Apostle, and tried to just tell stories about his life and more kind of bring him to life. We're wanting to do the same thing with Moses. And again, there's just so much there. He's got so many amazing stories and conversations with God, and just there's no way you could do Moses in one issue, but we're going to do our best. So we're going to look at Moses in the summer. And then in September, again, sort of a flashback to this last year when we did the theological family tree, we're going to do some more modern theologians. So just not necessarily a continuation of that issue, but it may be a similar structure where we look at some more recent voices and how they have shaped our Nazarene identity, what we believe, why we believe it, and how that impacts how we live out our lives. And then at the end of the year, November, December is going to be Sabbath. So we're going to intentionally kind of slow down and rest and look at what it means to actually rest instead of just vegging. I know sometimes that can be a temptation to just completely unplug and like turn your brain off. But is that really resting? Is that really Sabbath? So we're gonna hopefully get some practical articles in that one as well, just about what does it look like to really slow down and be intentional and unplug the right way so that you are filling yourself back up instead of just kind of crashing.
And Jordan, I'm interrupting you now on your
Yeah, no,
Sabbath
that's
rest,
good.
but that spurred a thought. As far as I know, in the planning, we don't have authors for all of these. So as the listeners are listening,
Yeah.
I can just think of some great writers for Sabbath rest,
Yeah.
good resters and good people that are good workers that have forced themselves to rest. But I'm just
Right.
thinking of people. That's how my mind works, popping into it. But again, we like feedback. So if you're
Yes,
listening to this and
please
you're
reach
thinking
out.
of people,
If you
please,
rest well,
reach out
let
to
us
us,
know.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're a
Any
good
of these,
rester.
if
I'm
any of
not, but if
these,
you are,
yeah,
yeah.
I know I struggle with that too. I kind of just want to crash. So, but yeah, if any of these jump out to anybody listening and you are interested in writing or know someone who would be good, feel free to reach out anytime. We're glad to hear that, and we're always building our list of writers. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. I think that takes us through 2026. We have some planned for 2027, but those are a little bit less fleshed out at this point. So.
Yeah. And Dani, I'm going to put you on the spot, just things that you and I have talked about, but share just a little bit about what you're looking forward to with the Spanish podcast in 2026, but also feel free to project into the future, speak prophetically about some of the things we want to do on social media. Obviously, we may not be able to accomplish all of them, but some of the things we're attempting to do to connect the global world.
Yeah, for our Spanish podcast, I think our the main emphasis and goal this year would be to have more interviews and to have more people on the podcast. So if you guys also are have people that you know that are Spanish pastors or Spanish leaders in our congregation, in our denomination, and they you think they would be great for our podcast in Spanish, please reach out to, again, Holiness Today at Nazarene.org. That would be amazing. So we do want more interviews, and we do want to listen to new people and new voices and leaders from our denomination. And I think that would be amazing for this upcoming year. And for our social media, I think mainly our goal is to hit the 44K. That would be a great goal for this year. And then also to be able to interact more with individuals from our followers. So that would be a great thing to have for this year. And also to have more posts out. And I think specifically for Instagram to be able to grow in our following and also be able to yeah, interact more with the individuals that we have on Instagram. Sometimes it's a little hard to figure out what each needs from different followers on different platforms are. But I think it'd be great if we are able to listen a little bit more to social media and see what they're interested in and what they want. And yeah, I think that would be our main goal for our social media.
And something you've helped us do, and again, it's one of those things where we need the right people, and you're the right person for this, but is to be more responsive and connecting more on social
Yes,
media.
for
So
sure.
just kind of that, we hope to in 2026, listener, be better at connecting and responsive to what people are thinking about, just how they relate to our content. And then another thing that I'm twisting everyone's arm on, I should probably make myself do it too, but it's just to be more willing to be on camera, I guess. Video shorts have become a big thing. And so yeah, that's another thing, Dani, that you're working on that we're excited for. But we don't know what that looks like, but maybe more behind the scenes kind of stuff, at the Global Ministry Center and connecting with our global leaders and whatnot. But
Yeah, I
one
think
of
that
the,
would be
go
amazing,
ahead,
like
sorry.
to have more, so sorry,
No,
but
go
to
ahead.
have more videos out and for you guys to know us as not only HT as the H and the T, but actually know us because oh look, this is Dani and this is her face, and then this is Jordan or Nate, and to be more relatable to our people, our followers, because we have an amazing platform and we have amazing followers that they're always sharing, they're always posting, they're always commenting on what we do. So I think it would be good to give back a little bit of what we do and for us to have a face behind that and in front of it too.
Well, some of I wanted to give a funny shout out to our best and our biggest follower. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's my mother. But she's been with us from the very beginning. But we really appreciate those who share. I know my mom is just one time we were attempting live streaming. I think we've decided we're not going to do that. And my mom was 50% of the watchers. I think we had two watchers, and it was my mother and someone else. So my mom is a big supporter. She shares on social media. But Dani, you're doing a good job connecting to people, because when we connect to people, they feel a part of it. They feel part of the family. My mom's literally my family, but they feel a part of the Nazarene family and are willing to share it. I know when Sarah interviewed you, Dani, it just tickled me to just see all the people that you know from South America that were so excited to see you be interviewed on the Holiness Today podcast. So those are the kind of things that like drive me and make me want to continue to do this. I'm just continually humbled by the people that enjoy connecting with us. It makes me feel good. I've recently had some really good connections with Eurasia region, still working on some of those partnerships, but we're just excited for those things in 2026. Specifically, I don't want to actually mention the departments because I don't want to get ahead of their launch. But on the Holiness Today, once we launched the Holiness Today Spanish podcast, we really moved into a network phase, because Dani's podcast is separate and distinct technically from the Holiness Today English podcast. It's still a part of the family, but it's its own channel. So we really opened up our opportunity to bring on other shows that could be a part of the Holiness Today network. And so two more shows are being launched in 2026. They're their own distinctive shows. You'll probably hear more about that on our channel, but you'll hear more about that from the shows that are being launched. I don't want to get ahead of them, that they should be coming soon. But we're open also to launching other languages as a show. We hope to do more we hope to do stuff in Portuguese and French. But it's just finding the time. So be praying for us in that. Obviously, we can't do any of this without God and the Holy Spirit. This is just an act of gratitude and thanksgiving for His grace. So all glory to God in this. But be praying for us as we think through these things But I would just say, as it relates to the podcast journey, it's been a fun and funny one. Thank you for being with us from the very beginning, Mom, and other people. No, no, but I was humbled when I looked back at September of 2022, and I thought that's really funny. We've grown since then, and hopefully we've connected with you. But any final thoughts from either of you? I kind of moved us into a closing thought there, but any final thoughts from you, Jordan or Dani?
No, that's good. Yeah, I think you said it well. We're excited about moving forward and seeing what that looks like. And it's kind of fun to look back on where we
It
started.
is.
And, we started
It
long
is.
before 2022, but the podcast and kind of
Yes.
looking
Yeah.
back on all
Yep.
that. So that's
Yep.
good. Yeah, I think you
Yep.
did a good job.
Dani, any shout outs you want to give?
Um, any shout outs?
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I would say my family too. My family's our number one supporter. They're always liking our stuff, and I think that's amazing. So shout out to them. And there are some there are some specific churches that also always share our
Yeah.
posts,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great shout out. So I have one in mind that is in Spanish. That is so a big shout out to MNI Distrito Golfo. They are one of our main shares. So they share our posts so much. And I am so very thankful for them because every morning when I see our Facebook, they're the first ones to share our stuff. So big shout out to them. And although they are in Spanish, they actually share our English posts as well, and also our Spanish. So that's crazy. So big shout out to them.
Wonderful. And there's so many people. I mean, I as I was thinking about this morning, it's like I don't want to give too many shout outs because then I'd miss the ones I didn't get. But we're just thankful. Thankful for the Gen Sec department that has been supportive of the podcast. Gary Hartke. I asked him one time what podcasts he listens to because I wanted to kind of figure out how we can gear it towards our audience. I know he's a big supporter, and he said, I only listen to the Holiness Today podcast. So, Gary, thank you for listening. We appreciate your support, but we're so thankful to everyone that's been with us along the journey, and we hope to have more listeners going into the future. We're excited to get to. I looked it up, and in my geography might be wrong, but I think we've hit 60% of the world by nation, not 60% of the world, but 60% of the nations in the world. So let's get more nations involved. Let's get more listeners involved. We're excited for that. But thank you both for joining me this morning, and I'll see you later. As part of the
Thank
HT.
you.
Yes,
We'll see you
thank
guys. Thank you for listening to the Holiness Today podcast. If you enjoyed this production and wish to hear more, visit holinesstoday.org/podcast or find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts.